In 2026, India introduced a law to regulate how foreign money flows into Indian organizations. The Western press called it controversial. But the United States has had an identical law since 1938. The United Kingdom, Australia, and the European Union all have equivalent legislation. Every major democracy on Earth controls foreign funding of its domestic organizations. India is now doing the same.
The Foreign Contribution Regulation Act, FCRA, was first introduced in India in 1976 and significantly strengthened in 2010. It requires every organization in India that receives money from foreign sources to register with the government and use that money only for declared purposes. Approximately 16,000 organizations are currently registered under FCRA. India receives significant foreign contributions annually, with the United States, Germany, the United Kingdom, and Switzerland among the top source countries. The law exists because foreign funding, if unregulated, can be used to influence Indian politics, destabilize communities, fund protests against national interest, or spread ideological agendas that serve foreign powers rather than Indian citizens.
The Foreign Contribution Regulation Amendment Bill, introduced in Lok Sabha in March 2026, goes further than any previous version. The bill proposes creating a designated authority with powers to investigate, monitor, and act on foreign funding flows in real time. It tightens conditions under which organizations can transfer funds they receive to other organizations, closing a loophole where foreign money was passed through multiple layers before reaching its final destination. The government stated that the amendments were necessary to align India's foreign funding regulations with global best practices and with recommendations from international financial oversight bodies.
To understand why India treats this seriously, you need to understand the scale. India received foreign contributions worth thousands of crores annually in the years before stricter enforcement. The top source countries include the United States, Germany, the United Kingdom, and Switzerland, nations whose governments and foundations fund a wide range of Indian civil society organizations. Some of this funding is genuinely benevolent: health programs, disaster relief, education. But some has been directed toward activities that the Indian government determined were against national interest.
The cases that drove the 2026 amendment are not hypothetical. Between 2011 and 2024, India canceled the FCRA registrations of over 20,000 organizations, finding that many had received foreign money without proper registration or had used it for purposes not declared to the government. The Financial Action Task Force, the global body that monitors money laundering and terror financing, conducted a mutual evaluation of India in 2024. India's government stated that strengthening FCRA was directly connected to addressing FATF recommendations about ensuring foreign money does not finance illegal activities through the nonprofit sector. Every nation that takes FATF seriously must regulate nonprofit foreign funding. India is doing exactly that.
Now here is the comparison the critics prefer not to make. The United States of America has regulated foreign influence in domestic organizations since 1938. The Foreign Agents Registration Act, FARA, requires any person or organization acting as an agent of a foreign principal to register with the U.S. Department of Justice, disclose their activities, and file regular reports on everything they do. In 2024 and 2025, the United States Department of Justice significantly intensified FARA enforcement, pursuing criminal prosecutions against individuals who failed to disclose foreign funding connections. The penalties for violating FARA in America include up to 5 years in prison and substantial fines. Nobody called the United States authoritarian for enforcing FARA.
The United Kingdom has the Register of Overseas Entities and strict Electoral Commission rules requiring disclosure of foreign political donations, with criminal penalties for violations.
Australia introduced the Foreign Influence Transparency Scheme in 2018, requiring registration and disclosure for any entity undertaking activities to influence Australian political or governmental processes on behalf of a foreign principal. Germany requires foreign-funded political foundations to disclose their funding sources and faces active debate about tightening restrictions further. The European Union has proposed legislation specifically targeting foreign funding that attempts to influence EU member state governance. Every democracy that takes its sovereignty seriously regulates foreign funding. India is in the same category as every nation on this list.
The critics of FCRA in India often ignore one crucial fact. India's own Supreme Court has repeatedly upheld FCRA as constitutional. In 2021, a 5-judge constitution bench of the Supreme Court of India upheld all amendments to FCRA, ruling that the right to receive foreign funds is not a fundamental right under the Indian Constitution. The Supreme Court held that FCRA serves a legitimate state interest in regulating foreign influence on India's domestic affairs. The highest court of the world's largest democracy found FCRA to be constitutional. That is not authoritarianism. That is sovereignty.
The double standard applied to India on FCRA is revealing. When the United States uses FARA to prosecute foreign agents, it is called national security. When the United Kingdom restricts foreign political donations, it is called protecting democracy. When Australia requires disclosure of foreign influence activities, it is called transparency. When India regulates foreign contributions to its organizations, it is called suppressing civil society. The standard changes depending on which country is implementing it. The principle is identical.
India's government has stated its position clearly. India is a sovereign, democratic republic. Every sovereign democracy has the right and the responsibility to know who is funding organizations operating within its borders. Foreign money that enters Indian civil society without transparency is not philanthropy. It is potential influence. India has learned from watching foreign-funded instability in other nations, color revolutions funded from abroad, protests organized with foreign money, media operations run on foreign agendas. India intends to ensure that its politics, its civil society, and its governance remain accountable to Indian citizens, not to foreign foundations, foreign governments, or foreign ideological movements.
India is not new to this conversation. India has maintained FCRA in some form since 1976, 50 years of sovereign regulation of foreign funding. India's democracy has survived every election, every challenge, and every crisis without foreign interference determining its outcome. That is not an accident. It is the result of deliberate policy choices, including FCRA. The 2026 amendment is not India becoming authoritarian. It is India becoming more rigorous in protecting what it has always protected: the integrity of its democratic process and the sovereignty of its domestic institutions. India is the world's largest democracy. It has held free and fair elections for 77 years without interruption. It has a Supreme Court that independently reviews and upholds laws. It has a parliament that debates legislation across multiple readings. And it has introduced a foreign funding regulation law that every major democracy in the world already has in some form. The Foreign Contribution Regulation Amendment Bill 2026 is not a sign that India is becoming less democratic. It is a sign that India is becoming more sovereign. And in a world where foreign money, foreign algorithms, and foreign agendas are more powerful than ever, sovereignty is not something any democracy can afford to be without. India chose sovereignty. That is the right choice.